Never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV as Clive is dancing to himself at the bottom there. To my right is Mitchell. Down the bottom there is Clive, and we're here to talk about West Ham United versus Newcastle United in a game where I think this is a bit of a free hit for me personally. We have a go and we see how we get on. But obviously, the game the other day was a good result, but we want another one. That game is tomorrow. Clive, I'll start off with you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm really good. Yourself?
Good, mate. I'm very well. And Mitch, how are you doing, mate? You had a good drink at the weekend, I saw, and the player ratings was good. How are you now?
Bit ill. Bosh.
But
Wow.
He had one too many with Alfie in the cinema the other day.
Rafa says,
He sucked me off, actually. He sucked me off. I said, Alfie, have a go on that.
Do you know what? Alfie's driving me mad with his Twitter propaganda of David Boys, but, you know, is what it is. Lads, let's get into this then, right, about Newcastle. Obviously, it's a big game for us. I do think if we win this game, then that could be a sure sign that we're going to be safe in the Premier League, and I think it's that close. Mitch, how do you look at this game on Wednesday, mate?
I look at it as if we're going to get fucked. That's what I think.
Reckon?
Yeah, I'm not confident at all, mate. I think I didn't expect Newcastle to be as good as what they were against Man United the other day. Man United are one of the most informed teams in Europe at the minute, and they look fucking very good. So,
right.
I don't know. I just can't see us. I think defensively, again, defensive problems are going to reappear. I think we'll concede 2 at least. I just can't see us winning this game. At least on Newcastle game before, we had a bit of that oomph. I just can't see this oomph with us anymore.
Right.
I think we're going to be losing. I think he might finish 2-1 Newcastle. I just want to see Cornet play, mate.
Mm.
And I want Souček to. I could say so many words about the geezer, but I just really don't want to fucking see him play for us anymore. I'm so upset. He makes me sad. James makes me really sad.
Fair enough, mate. Why you chill out for a minute, Clive? What do you reckon on this game, mate? Obviously, this is a big one.
This comment's just for Steve, as he mentioned Souček. This is as much of a free hit as when James said Souček was.
It's not a free hit.
1 for the last.
Well,
yeah, that's what I mean. It's not a free hit at all. It's as much as a free hit as it is a 1 rate in Souček last game. Yeah. There was a second part to it. Don't worry. Look, I think if we wanted to get something out of the Newcastle game at home, we needed to face them maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, where they were struggling to score and they were just drawing games. But after watching them against Manchester United, I mean, it wasn't even like, it was 2-0 and Manchester United could have got away with something. It was Newcastle dominated Manchester United for large parts of that game. They looked incredible. And the last time we faced Newcastle, which was away at St James's, they didn't have Bruno Guimaraes. They didn't have certain players due to either suspensions or due to injury. Looking at their current injury list, they're probably their best players that are, ruled out. Miguel Almiron, who's got a thigh injury and his potential returns at the end of April, and then Willock is a late fitness test by the sounds of it. So,
well, they got Guimaraes now. They didn't have him in the away fixture.
And that's the thing. And looking at what Guimaraes did against Manchester United, and looking at how our defence play sometimes can be, I'm a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie. I think Newcastle.
And they got Isaac now as well. Isaac is looking good at the minute.
He's looking good, and we always know Callum Wilson loves a goal against West Ham.
Another player West Ham could have signed, Isaac. 100%. West Ham went for Skamaka and said.
Yeah, do you know what? Skamaka's our only injury, but I actually feel sorry for the bloke because I don't think this knee injury is his doing. This is a West Ham fault. This is West Ham, him and Ings both got a knee injection back in January, the end of January, right? Skamaka
Yeah.
was back on the team sheet 7 to 10 days later and played. Ings, on the other hand, did not play for 3 or 4 weeks, came back into the team once the injection had fully set and he had fitness. Skamaka was forced to play when the injection had not fully set. It's the most stupid thing you could do. And there's rumours saying that he might even need surgery now. We have fucked ourselves over with Skamaka.
Maybe. I look at it a bit different to you, lads. I do look at this as a free hit for West Ham. No fear, and whatever happens on the night. Obviously,
if we lose, that's acceptable.
As long as we get something at Fulham. If we beat Fulham, I said at the start of this week, 6 points, 6 points I could live with. Anything less than 6, I don't think it's good enough, right? If West Ham play Newcastle and just say, for example, we put a good performance in, we don't get the right result, I'm not going to be massively downhearted about it as long as we get something at Fulham. If we go and beat Fulham, then great. I think we can get a point out of this game. I really do. I think they're good at home. Don't get me wrong, Newcastle, but away from home, they're a bit hit and miss.
I'm saying, we've basically got a fully fit team as well.
Yeah,
I think if we're going to be realistic about this game, I mean, looking at Newcastle's form, for instance, they draw a lot of their games.
Yeah.
I think if we want to be really realistic about it, the most likely possibility, if it's not a loss, is going to be a draw. Because
I'll take a draw right now.
Because at this current point of the season, Newcastle have lost 3 games, but they've drawn 11 and won 13. They've almost drawn as many as they've won.
Yeah.
So, if we're going to get anything out of it, it will be a point. And I would be more than happy to take a point out of a team that are in the top 4.
Yeah, I would have known. But before I sort of go on to the next topic of conversation.
James, you would respect the draw.
I would respect the point. I would respect the point against the top 4 sides. Yes, I would.
Oh my
God!
Oh my God!
Got nothing to lose, and as long as we don't defend and just attack, this is West Ham. Don't forget. Then do Fulham for 3 points. Agree with Gaz, 100%.
How would you feel? How would you feel if Souček scored that goal and let us draw?
I don't think Souček should play, but that is a topic of conversation soon. So be aware of it.
I really do disagree with you. I think we should be looking at minimum draw.
Well,
yeah,
for
sure.
Obviously,
we should be looking at it.
Mate, all teams around us, Everton picked up a draw last night against Spurs. So if we want to have some actual bollocks about us, they don't have their fucking, hippie dresser cunt up front, and they still got a draw from it. We've basically got a fully fit squad. There's no excuses. We're they're not great away from home. I want a draw. I want a draw tomorrow.
But do you know what though? Do you know what? Nothing would surprise me if West Ham turn up in this game. It's just the West Ham way.
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me. I know people say about Newcastle, but nothing would surprise me in the slightest if West Ham turned up, won this game, and then lost against Fulham. It just wouldn't surprise me. And Fulham's the easier game.
I mean, Fulham on paper is an easier game, and their results in the last couple of weeks have been. You're seeing a downturn in their form, but what I would say is our away form is disastrous, as bad as Nottingham Forest. Just our goal difference is a lot better in that sense. But
we are unbeaten. We're unbeaten at the LS in 2023.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we're more likely to get something out of this, and we need to utilize these home games because our away form is disastrous. But that's where I would respect a point against Fulham, because if we're going to have a change in our away form, we need to start somewhere, and a draw is better than a loss at this point.
Yeah, 100% agree. Well, we'll move on to this topic of conversation. Newcastle's key players. Before I get into this, please do smash a like on the video. And if you are new around here and you like the banter on E20 Zone TV, because I must admit, I watched the show back the other night and we had a right laugh on that player ratings. I must admit, I've never laughed so much in my life, especially some of the things Mitch was coming out with.
I've
please do subscribe to the channel.
Souček was just rated a 1.
Yes, but that was to be between me and you, but that will be concluded soon. Right. Let's get into this. Newcastle's key players. Mitch, talk to me. You watched the game the other night. What players do West Ham have to be aware of tomorrow night?
Well, we've got to be aware that they've got a really solid defence. They've
Yeah.
got a very good defence. So I think it'll be easy to unlock him. Ben Rama's got to be on his top quality. He can't be like what he was against Southampton. Like stop starting. He gets the ball. He's like Harvey Price, like doing this shit. He's got to be up bang on it. Bowen's got to be on it. Our attackers have got to be bang on it, and we've got to pick a good striker. Obviously, I won't go too much in depth about that because we're talking about the Newcastle players right now. Newcastle players wise, yeah, I think Dan Burns a really solid defender. It'll be tough for Bowen to get the better of him. Whether he will, I don't believe he will, but we shall see.
Right.
I think Bruno Guimaraes is their best player.
Who will Bruno be up against for you lads?
He'd be up against Souček probably. Unfortunately, Souček, even though he should not play for us ever again in his life, and he should.
So what is their system?
Town.
Newcastle, is it 4-3-3 or is it a 4-2-3-1?
Yeah,
or what?
it's a 4-3-3 for them.
Usually. They play Willock a bit further forward.
Their game against Manchester United, their starting lineup was the following: Nick Pope in goal, who is a threat for us because we already struggle to score goals, and he is a good goalie, good. They've got a back four of Dan Burn on the left, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, and Kieran Trippier. Their mid three is Sean Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joe Willock, who Willock is facing a late fitness test. And their top three was Alex St. Maximin, Alexander Isaac, and Jacob Murphy.
Oh, Jacob
Murphy's very meh. Jacob Murphy's very meh. I think Emerson will have a good day. Actually, I didn't really think of that in that way, but Emerson should have a very good day. Trippier ain't the best defensively. Jacob Murphy going forward.
I'm more worried about the right back. I'm more worried about our right back 100%. Because Alex St. Maximin against any of our right backs is a terrifying thought because
St. Maximin changes. He changes like the weather, doesn't he? Like sometimes he blows spot, look good against United, but then when we played him in the away fixture, he was terrible, wasn't he?
He was, but he could look bang average, and you could get he could get a great pass from Guimaraes, which obviously didn't happen in the away game. But he could get a good pass out of that, and he could absolutely decimate our right side, depending on who starts for us in right back on tomorrow night's game.
So let me get this right. Just tell me their midfield. Newcastle's midfield three.
Their midfield three is Joe Willock, who obviously has a late fitness. It'll most likely be Joe Linton. Bruno Guimaraes and Sean Longstaff.
Well, Sean Longstaff is pony, in my opinion. Right? When people used to compare,
he's not terrible. He's not too bad. He's had
but when people used to,
he's all right.
I wouldn't say he's. I wouldn't say he's all right.
He's not pony. I would take him West Ham all day long. Wouldn't you take him?
Nah, not for me, mate. What, when he was being compared to be better than Declan Rice, I was like,
right, we've got Thomas Souček playing for us.
That's a fair point. Joe Linton. Fair enough. He's massively improved. I won't lie. Like playing midfield, fuck me. He does look the part there. I think Deck should be on Bruno tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Get him on Bruno. Stop the supply. You stop him. You can slow Newcastle down from coming from the midfield.
It's not as easy as that though, because he picks up spaces. He picks up spaces.
Yeah.
Up top, he picks up spaces from deep. Rice can't always be on him because Rice is very much he sticks to his position. In a
I think it depends. It depends on the shape that we play tomorrow night. Because at the end of the day, let's say Willock doesn't pass the fitness test, then you're looking at, if you take Guimaraes out of the game in centre, then you would put Rice on him and utilise the other midfielders around him, because you could then utilise Paqueta at that point. Yeah. That's how I see it. I know we all have a song and dance about Souček, but his passing is atrocious at times. And that's just being kind there about his passing. But at that point, if we do what we did against Southampton and utilise Paqueta going forward, and you keep Rice back and have Rice just literally on Guimaraes.
Or get Flynn in this team and let Flynn man-mark Bruno. That's what I would do.
We all know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And what we'd like to do. We're going to play Souček. Souček's going to get fingered by Bruno Guimaraes. Every time he presses high, Bruno Guimaraes is like, see you later, nutmeg him. Souček's like, and then that's it. Then they counter attack it. It's a break.
If you do like the content on E20 Zone TV and all the nice words that Mitch comes out with, please do subscribe. It does go a long way. Thank you.
Only reason to start Souček would be to just have a bit more physical presence against Longstaff and Joe Luton and winning those.
That's what I mean. I would start Souček on that and also aerial presence.
Oh.
The aerial presence.
No way.
Against Southampton. Yes.
Right. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Right. Hold on a minute. Right. Before we're going to wrap that up with them players. So obviously Bruno, Isak, and others. Now let's get to this thing. Should Souček start? And that to me is a definite no. I don't want him in Stratford, let alone on the pitch. Mitch, take the shooter out. Take the shooter out of your mouth. Please tell me how, Clive. I want you to explain to me what Thomas Souček does other than a cardio session.
Right, I've already said, look, his pass.
He likes a little long jump as well every now and then. He
does love a little long jump. But you know what? Like, I think when I look at the players we have, I'm sorry, but Souček is our best option. And hear me out. And when I
can't hear it, Clive. Go on. Right, I'll let you land. Go on.
Flint Downs, for me, is more of a centre mid, 100%. Like, if you're going to take Paqueta off 65, 70 minutes into the game, I'd rather we brought then Flint Downs in. I'm saying it how I see it. Souček, yes, his passing is shit. Aerial presence against Newcastle is key. Like, when you've got Kieran Trippier, say, fucking crossing in the ball from a corner, or whether it's a free kick that we've given away, and God knows how many free kicks we're going to fucking give away in this game. But, you know, Souček's presence will help. He can head the ball. His aerial threat is fine.
So you're telling me, Clive, you're telling me you want this geezer on the pitch so he can head balls out of our box?
Yes. And
fuck you.
So, look,
okay, I'll carry on.
Also see is let's say we keep to a similar formation that we had against Southampton, right? We keep to that formation. It's a team game. It's not there is individual displays and bits of excellence that are required in order to win games. But there's nothing to say if Souček makes a sloppy pass or whatever it might be that, you know, Rice or Paqueta can't recover. If you're telling me our CDMs cannot recover,
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
If you're telling me our world-class CDM, Rice, cannot recover the ball, then what the fuck are we doing in the first place?
Right.
I'm sorry. It is what it is.
I'm going to say this, yeah? Right. I'll say it again. He's a fucking clown. He shouldn't be in the team. I don't know how many more times I've got to say it, right? The geezer can't pass. He can't tackle. He can't track. Mate, he runs around fucking cardio session. Shit, he shouldn't be in the team, bruv. Right? And I don't want him in there for aerial ability. If you stop the cross, then he ain't got to head or anything out, has he? So just make sure you stop the cross. Mitch, talk to me about Thomas Souček, mate, and please try and convince Clive that he's not losing the plot tonight. Please. Fuck. Mitch, talk to me, mate, please. I know you got no words.
James, what do you want me to say?
Well, say something, bro. I know you're stunned.
Okay, look, I'm not even going to explain myself. I'm a Souček. He's a cunt, right? So, what I would play is, could you imagine this? So, Trippier, not the fastest of right backs. Perfect for corner, in my opinion. Stick corner out on the left. Ben Rama just behind the striker. You play a 4-2-3-1. Play Paqueta and Rice as the two defensive midfielders. Ben Rama just in front of him centrally. And when I've seen Ben Rama play centrally, I think it's good. I think when he shoots centrally, he does all right. When he shoots on the left-hand side, he doesn't get enough power on it to curl it in. But when he's in the middle, he can pick his spot more. His crossing's terrible, so it makes sense for him to play down the middle more. Corner's crossing is better, and he's quicker, so he can beat Trippier. And, well, how much better does that look? Like, in my opinion, it looks so much better. If you play...
I must admit.
Or you could play Fornals instead of Ben Rama, and you play midfield three of Fornals and Rice. And that looks so much better. Like we
It
we
does,
played
yeah.
against Newcastle away, and we were so much more better in possession because we didn't have that fucking prick starting. And against
Yeah.
a team like Newcastle, we're going to press the fuck out of us. There's no point of having him. There's no point unless you want him to win.
See, the thing is, Mitch,
I don't want. I want to set up to go at teams and just play good
yeah.
football and actually try and get a result, a
Yeah,
point
but
or three.
I keep
You're
hearing
not.
this,
You're not.
right?
He's a fucking swat.
Right? I
I
keep
fucking hate the prick.
chill out for a minute, yeah. I keep hearing this about people keep saying about they want West Ham to play good football. West Ham ain't going to play good football from now to the end of the season. West Ham are going to play grinding out football, trying to grind out results. It's obvious, like it's there for everyone to see. We're going to grind out results because Moyes don't know how to do anything else other than try and grind out a result. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyone who thinks we're going to just turn into this fucking team that is just going to be amazing all of a sudden, they're on drugs. Do you know what I mean? Not like, or I don't know what they're seeing. I agree with what Mitch just said there, as it goes. Funny enough, I think that's not a bad little team. But the problem is, right?
There's
People are going to be
There's no problem with that team.
like 4-2-3-1 is not our sort of best system. Like, what you know what I mean? And I do believe
We
that.
played it against Southampton. We played Souček as basically our second fucking striker.
Yeah, but that just kills me though, mate. Inside that literally. I'm emotional damage even thinking about that when he's our second striker and only has 7 complete passes in 70 minutes. Like, that's just embarrassing, let's be honest. Clive, anything else you want to add? Or why I'll take you off mute.
I can't do this anymore. I've done it. I've talked about the fucker for like 2 years straight now. He makes me upset. I want him to go in the summer. Take any money for him. Let's get him off the way. Him and Ings. Fuck off.
Yeah, look.
Do not want to see Ings starting as well. He can fuck right off. Ings can.
Yeah.
This is exactly the wrong game for him. If he starts, it's a hangable offence.
I agree in that sense. Ings shouldn't be starting this game. You need speed. You need Antonio for this for sure. But you know, the last time we played Newcastle, they scored 3 times against us. Thankfully, thanks to 2 offsides. They had only scored once in those first 5-10 minutes that were absolutely disastrous. But last time we faced Newcastle, I'll admit, Souček did not play. I'm just looking at the team sheet from early February. But obviously we played 2 wing backs at that point of the season. So things have changed in this time. But I just... I don't want Paqueta as a DM. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'd rather have Souček there. I know he's passing shit, but do you not
think... He played there yesterday.
He
played against Southampton.
Yeah, but he looked like he was going more forward against Southampton. I don't know if it's because he could because it's Southampton. He did to me. I felt like he was. He was going more forward. He managed to draw those fouls and stuff, didn't he?
He played the exact same position if Ben Rama was in front of him.
Yeah, it's true. But then,
he'd have more bodies, but he'd have more bodies next to him because then Souček wouldn't be sitting in the box like a fucking.
Thing is, if Saint Maximin plays, I do agree with Mitch. Maybe Cornet wouldn't be a surprise thing for this. One thing that I do fear in this game, and I do fear it quite openly, it fucking pains the life out of me, right? Is that he don't go 5 at the back, like just to try and.
If he does and Souček don't play, I'm not too opposed to it.
So if he plays 5 at the back and Cornet plays as one of the wing backs, would you be all right with that?
He wouldn't do that. No, he wouldn't do that. He would never. He would play Emerson left wing back.
Yeah, but he'll go right wing back.
Kufal, yeah. Because the last time we played, just to give context of how our defense was set up, we had Ogbonna, Aguerd, and Kera as our 3 centre backs. We had Emerson as our left wing back, and our right wing back was Sufal in that game. That was the starting lineup. And then we had Paqueta and Rice, and then Bowen, Benrahma, and Antonio. They were our starting 11 back on the 4th of Feb, I think.
Well, you talking about starting 11s? We might as well get to ours, right? And we're going to talk about our starting 11 and what we would want to see in the team. Not what Mr. David Moyes, a.k.a. WestHamOnline's father, wants. Right, goalkeeper. Would we all agree Fabianski in goal?
Yeah, he had a good game against Southampton, 100%.
Mitch, what you saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, I would agree. System. Are we playing 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 5-3-2? What are we playing? He's going to play a
4-2-3-1
4-3.
for me.
Right, 4-2-3-1 for you. Yeah, I'll go 4-3-3 and all. Right back. Kehrer played the other day. Do you keep Kehrer in this game? He's going to be up against. Who's he going to
Soufal,
be up?
because Soufal's had more experience into Maximin. He looked good against him last time. Makes sense.
Yeah. Right. So you go with
Soufal.
Obviously, I think the two centre halves pick themselves in Aguerd and Zuma. Left back obviously picks himself now. Emerson, he's been absolutely brilliant. I'm not even going to lie. Is he?
Bastard.
I'm going to ask you this. Yeah, is he signing of the season for you, lads? In regards of quality, as in sort of value.
I'd still say Aguerd.
Yeah,
Aguerd. Yeah, I know Aguerd's good, but 15 million for Emerson.
I didn't think Emerson would.
Aguerd was what, 25, 27?
30.
He's like 30 million money.
Yeah, and let's be honest, he's been injured most of the season, but yeah, we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Emerson, right, midfield, Rice, Paqueta.
By the way, I love Emerson. Love the bloke. Really like him.
Yeah, and I remember the clip from the Chelsea game when you said about Emerson. Me and you literally was on that bandwagon of getting Emerson in, and WestHamOnline was like, don't take my uncle Cresswell out of the team, please. Right, Rice, Paqueta.
Like that.
Yeah, that's what he does.
I was with him at Chelsea. He's like Cresswell. Like it's like, well, it was warming up in front of us, went down the touchline, and I was like, Alfie, he's had that card on that. I thought,
fair enough. Right, Paqueta, Rice. That's 100% from the pair or from all of us. My third midfielder would be Pablo Fornells. I think, for me personally, I'll go first. He's passing, he's pressing, his awareness, his ability to throw balls over the top and down the sides for Bowen, Ben Rama, and either Antonio or Ings to run onto are decent. So for me, it would be Pablo Fornells. Clive, who's your third midfielder?
So looking at the options of Fornells, or say if we put Lanzini, they're all small players that ain't going to do fuck all against Newcastle. So, I'm going to go with my tall, lanky best friend who doesn't know how to string a pass, but has a good aerial presence, and I hope he brings a man of the match performance and maybe even scores against Newcastle so James can eat his words. I'm going with Thomas Souček.
Right, he's going with the potato salad man who sells it at Tesco's.
You remember this moment. Just remember this moment.
Yeah,
I will.
I can't wait. I can't wait till if he plays shit, mate, I'm going to rip him again.
Tomorrow, or whenever I see you next on East Rennie, and after Souček drops a disgusting 3 out of 10 performance tomorrow night, I'll be putting down the Glock and I'll be buying an M4, mate.
100%. He'd be upgrading his toolkit. Mitch, right, so you're saying 4-2-3-1 for you. So who is the man to replace Thomas Souček in your opinion?
For me, again, the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, I would just be a little bit more spicy, a little bit more adventurous, and I'd play Ben Rama as the 10.
Right. So
and then Corney left, Bowen right, and Tony up top.
Yeah.
Bit more dynamism.
I agree with the last three that you said.
That not make you salivate? Would you look at him and go, oh.
I would look at it a bit different.
My only thing with Corney,
I'll be honest,
so my only thing with Corney is obviously with his injury circumstances, I can see why he's not going to start a game. I don't think he'll start realistically any games until next season.
But how much bollocks is that? You got Mr. Inconsistent in Ben Rama. Give Corney a fucking go.
No, I agree with that, but I think in terms of this, if the rumours are all true that he had this injury that not many people have seen, and it's 2 cases in 25 years or some bullshit. Let's say that is the case. I can see the cautiousness behind him not starting a game until perhaps they're still running more tests and all these things. He might be
I don't think so.
training.
I think he's going to be played. So. I think he's going to be played more.
He's looked fit since he's had these little cameos.
I think he's going to play more. I really do.
A cameo versus starting is completely different. If you're playing the last 20, 30 minutes, it's a bit different to starting a game where
you're playing 20, 30 minutes a month ago. So surely he's fully fit now. He's been training every day.
No, I agree. He should be fully fit, but I think there's a cautiousness behind it all. Is
but
what
that's
I'm
on
saying out of
that's
it.
on Moyes though. For me,
Fuck the cautiousness. He started Skamaka when he wasn't fully fit.
I
Right.
agree. Yeah, I agree.
right. For me, Antonio, Ben Rama, Bowen, 3-man attack. No Danny Ings, all full. I want to see Antonio. Antonio can bully their two centre halves and push them back. I must admit, Antonio did have a good game, if I remember rightly, at Newcastle. I remember the
He
game.
did. He just didn't
And
score. It was
he
struggling
didn't
to score,
score,
but
and
his actual all-round play was decent.
yeah, and I want to see that again. I don't think this is the game for Danny Ings. I think he'll get manhandled and assaulted.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mate, if you bent over like that by
Yeah.
fucking that back four.
Well, fair enough. Clive, are you saying the same as me, or have you got a different opinion on that?
Yeah, left wing Benny, right wing obviously Bowen, and up top on his ones is Antonio.
Yeah.
I think based on the last game, you cannot not start Antonio.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. Right, let's get into it then. Predictions time. Clive, I'll let you go first. What are you saying tomorrow?
If we're gonna get anything out of it, it will be a point. But I think we're facing Newcastle at the wrong time. I do have fears about Guimaraes just ripping us apart. I don't think we're good enough to get a win. That's for sure. I think a draw, a 1-1 draw is a possibility, but my realisticness is saying 2-1 Newcastle. As much as I hate to say it, I just know Callum Wilson loves to score against us. If he plays, he's going to score. It's almost a given. And you just fancy someone like Trippier to score either a free kick or do some sort of magical thing from a set piece and get one of their players to score a goal from. I just got a weird feeling that Newcastle will take this game. Yeah, I'm going to give them 2-1. I think 2-1 Newcastle. And if we get a draw, then amazing. But 2-1 Newcastle.
I'll go next. I'll leave Mitch till last. I think this is a banker draw for me. I really do. If anyone's having a bet tomorrow, I'll get on the draw. I called it a while ago. I said this week, 7 points. We'll beat Southampton. We'll draw in Newcastle, and I think we can beat Fulham. Yeah. If we turn up tomorrow and we put in a good performance and we get a positive result, I think that will sort of slowly ease the pressure on the team, and then we can go back to focusing on the conference. Right? I think at the minute we can't focus on the conference at the minute until we get this week sorted out and get the points on the board. I am going to go for a draw. West Ham do seem to turn up against the big teams at home. Newcastle are a big side at present this season. I think it'll be a tough game, but I think we can get something. I really do. I said it when we went up there and we was playing badly and we got a draw and we played all right in that game. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say a 1-1 or a 2-2. I think there'll be goals in this game and all. If West Ham do lose the game, it's not over. It's not. I don't want to see a fucking meltdown and go, oh, we're going to get relegated. Yeah. As long as we beat Fulham. If we beat Fulham at the weekend, 6 points out of 9, I think all of us would have took that. But I do look at tomorrow as a free hit. If we can get something out of this game positive, it's a bonus. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1 or 2-2 for me. I think it's a banker. Mitch, what are you saying?
Again, it depends on. It's hard. It's really hard to predict. It's hard to predict what team Moyes will play. It's hard to predict how we'll turn up. We're very unpredictable this season. I think, based on what I think Moyes would play, I think if he starts still chicken Ings, which I think he will, then I reckon we'll lose 3-0. But if he plays a team which I think is a good side, I think we could get a draw. But I think we'll lose 2 or 3-0, personally.
2 or 3-0 for you, mate, yeah?
Mm.
Oh, dear. Well, that's the predictions. Right, to round this sort of up on this show this afternoon, it's questions. Now, I've got one here that I've just seen from Usual Suspect.
Should Ings be whipped? Yes, I think he should. I think he's a shocking player. He's on 125 grand a week.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
Fair enough. Anyone heard the rumours about Mancini at all? What do you make of Roberto Mancini possibly being West Ham's manager?
I'd
Mitch?
like Mancini.
Was it? Not
No,
for
I
me.
wouldn't.
Not for me either. What?
I would. If he's a good manager.
Well,
But
why wouldn't you?
there's better
Go on.
options. Definitely better options.
Oh, 100% is better
I
options.
could name about 20 managers I'd like, but the best options for me
Like,
are
the-
not Potter.
Like,
I don't even rate Potter too much.
No,
Well-
I think Potter's sort of likeness has gone down the moment that Roberto, whatever he's called from Brighton, took over, because he's maintained the exact same form
Well,
that
it's
Potter had,
better,
and
a
it
lot better.
shows. Yeah, and their style of play is a lot better. If anything, what it says is Potter was helped by the staff around him in the sense of getting the right players in, and sort of, the backroom staff really have a stronghold of how well Brighton do. In terms of Mancini, it just gives me Pellegrini vibes. Like, the last team he managed, other than obviously international team, was Zenit St. Petersburg. When you look at when we took Pellegrini was in China. Like, I feel like the stock of these sort of managers, the managers that are in their late 50s, early 60s, their times they've been found out. I think the game has changed. I think that's why we're seeing younger managers come in and come through now, and you're seeing the sort of older generation managers sort of start to phase out.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that well at Zenit. He didn't do overly great, if I remember, at Inter Milan, which was his previous club, and before that he was at Galatasaray. So after Manchester City, he's done fuck all really. All right, he did it in terms of Italy. Yeah, he won the Euros, but he failed to qualify for the World Cup. So where'd you go with that?
For me, I would say definitely a no. I think West Ham should go in a completely different direction. I think West Ham needs to go younger, fresher. Like, football's evolving, and keep going with older managers playing old style football isn't going to develop West Ham. I would rather see a younger manager at the club who's going to better West Ham's football style, rather than an older manager that's just going to make us defensively sound and try and nick results, in my opinion. Is there
Who's your number one pick, James?
For me, personally, I've got three people that I would love at West Ham.
Number one. Because I've got like Postecoglou, I'd say Will Steele and Carrick. But who's your number one?
You've just said the three. You've just said the
who's
three.
Your number one? Who's your number one?
Well, I'll do it from 3 to 1, right? Number 3, I would say Carrick. Yeah. The only reason why
I want him.
I would have him, but he'll be my third choice. Yeah, I think what he's doing at Borough is good, but then you look at them at the weekend, they go 1-0 up against a really bad Huddersfield side and get absolutely blitzed. So I think Carrick needs to have more time to adapt and be a manager. Number 2 would be Postecoglou for me. Out of Australian fans that I spoke to, right, and I'll be honest with you, they cannot rave about this geezer enough. They really can't. Like, they reckon he is the real deal, and Celtic really covers him up. Yeah. And I think if he went to a side where he had the resources, and when you look at Celtic's team, some of the players they've signed from like Japan and all that, he knows that market, and that is Japan are a massive club, country at the minute in regards to football. Like, their development of players at the minute is unreal. And then number 1 would be Will Steele for me. I think Will Steele he's a West Ham fan, which is the first thing, so he understands the West Ham style of play. I think what he's doing in France with a poor team at the minute is unreal.
He follows Alfie. And
he follows Alfie on Instagram. So yeah, it's got to be Will Steele. What about you, lads?
And this fucking Will Steele train, fucking get me off.
Right, coming in, Clivus. What are your top? Give me your 3 lads then. Give me your 3 managers that you'd like to see.
All right, so my 3, I'd say Ange Postecoglou or whatever he's called.
Ange
really
Postecoglou,
butchered that one. Really butchered it, but he's done well. Like, I know it's very hard to go, oh well, Celtic, and then if you look at a lot of managers that have come from either Celtic or Rangers, they've not necessarily done well in the Premier League. If you're looking at like Neil Lennon, if you're looking at Steven Gerrard, even and a few others. But just trying to think of recent examples. But I'd say Ange has also done well, in Australia and other markets. And if you look at, say, Graham Potter came from Sweden or wherever, and worked his way into England. I think we do need to look at managers where you wouldn't necessarily look. I would say Michael Carrick is number 2. He's got experience in terms of the coaching side of things in the sense of Manchester United, and then obviously he has done well with Middlesbrough. And then my actual number 1, and it's really annoying that Napoli have done really well this season because it's just unrealistic at this point. But I would have said Luciano Spalletti. He's always been at. He's always been.
Clive,
now.
Clive, you do know we've got Sullivan in charge. We haven't got Kadinsky in charge, don't you?
No, but yeah, hear me out. The teams Spalletti used to sort of coach or manage were always mid-table teams in the Serie A. It wasn't unrealistic until Napoli decided they were going to fucking win Serie A by about 20 odd points. Like before now, he'd been at Roma twice. He's been at Inter Milan and did shit at Inter Milan, albeit, but he'd done well at Roma both times he's been there. He was at Udinese twice. He's been at Sampdoria. He's been at teams that are mid to low table of Serie A. So it wasn't unrealistic until Napoli decided to make it very unrealistic for us.
It does help,
that's
though.
why he was my number 1.
It does help if we when he has a centre forward that's banging in goals every week, though. I must admit, and he's got that George in it. International, who's like a star, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah, but like, I mean, when he was at Roma, he didn't necessarily have like any, striker that was of that sort of stature. But the reason I'm not on the Will Still train is I'm not saying in the future he wouldn't be great. I'm just saying right now, like he's had half a season and done wonders. Don't get me wrong, but let's wait a season or two, because the worst thing we could fucking do is go hire Will Still and then do absolutely shit next season. And when I say shit, I mean shitter than what we've done this season.
I don't think it could happen.
I don't agree, Clive.
Yeah. Go on, Mitch. You go ahead with your 3, mate. In order.
Will Still be my 3rd choice. Second choice would be. No, I'd say Postecoglou. That should be my number 1.
Yeah.
Postecoglou is probably my number 1 choice, and then second Carrick, 3rd. Will Still, and then very close 4th Poch. I think Will Still.
Poch is in mine as well.
I think Will Still would still be very good. I think the thing with Poch is that it's the way we want to play, and the way our the players that we have at the club really suit.
Yeah.
Poch. He does well with foreign players as well, so that would help. Will Still speaks French fluently, and we've got lots of French players at the club, French-speaking players.
Yeah.
And he knows the philosophy at West Ham, so I think that it'd be a risky one, but one that could really pay off. And if you don't sign him now and he smashes it again next season, then you're gonna have the top clubs looking at him. So, and Carrick, I think Carrick's just got a great style of play. The way he plays is very good. I've always said that the way we play West Ham is that we play our wingers so wide.
Yeah.
We did, and we never had runners in the channels. Is exactly the way Middlesbrough play, and it's exactly the problems I've been saying at West Ham. Not so much anymore, because now we just can't play any football at all. But before, when we was trying to play good build-up, and then we get into final third, and we didn't know how to score goals or create goals, Carrick would have been the perfect man in terms of his style of play then.
What about Gallardo?
No.
I think I just think it's a risk, isn't it? Before I get to this sort of question from me, please do smash a like on the video. It goes a long way. Helps us all out, gets us out there. So go over there, smash a like on the video. What do you make, you lads, of the Potter? Everyone going, get Potter in, get Potter in. I'm not.
I think Potter ridiculously silly. I think there's so many better options.
Yeah, but
I'm not fully opposed to it.
Yeah, but is Potter a bad manager, or
no?
Is Potter was Potter a bad manager with a world-class team? Because the team he had was world-class.
You know what? I think a lot of these players need a real kick up the arse and a real determination, kind of fired up their arse.
Yeah.
Potter comes in. I don't see that. I want a hungrier, younger manager to come in. Potter would be on my list somewhere.
I think
there's
it's
better
difficult
options.
With Potter. I think it's
Go on.
difficult. It depends where West Ham want to see themselves. Like, if we want to see ourselves, let's say we stay up, and uh, we want to be ambitious. If we want to be ambitious, we should be looking at Poch or even Ange or someone like
I think
that
I think
caliber.
Pochettino goes back to Spurs, mate. If you want me to be honest.
Yeah, no, yeah. If I'm honest, that's where I think. But
Yeah.
we need to look with someone with a little bit more caliber, someone that can cope with the attitude or prima donna style of some of the players. And what I mean by that is players like Scamacca or players like Paqueta. If we want to sign these world-class players or keep world-class players, we need to have a manager that can cope with that stature of player. The ones that need that more attention because they're a little bit of a cunt or they're a little bit dicky or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the bite is missing with Potter. Potter failed with Chelsea because he couldn't cope with those players. You look at Brighton, and the Brighton players are more like, say, West Ham players, the majority of them, or teams around us where,
but I agree with Anthony though there, yeah. Potter's team struggle to score goals.
So
that is very, very true. And someone put it on Twitter the other day, funny enough, right? And I had to look at it and I clapped him. I said, you know what, fair play. Potter is like he's a younger version of Moyes to a point, right? In regards of like setting up defensively, and it's like it all depends on what you want as like for your team, basically. If I was to ask both of you right now, what style of play would you like West Ham to be? Like, what style of play would you want West Ham to be?
It'd exactly be what Carrick's philosophy is.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
it
what?
Would be as well.
It's expensive. It's quick.
You utilise the wings.
The players are hungry. It's a change of play. It's good. It's like it's very similar to like a mixture of like Brighton in the Premier League and like Man United. If you was put them two teams combined, the way they play, that would be like Middlesbrough, obviously.
The other reason I wouldn't take Will Steele, by the way, is we don't actually know what his sort of transfers are. Like when you look at other managers, right? You know the sort of players they'd bring in or the sort of players they would go after. Will Steele's not been around enough to sort of know what you'd be getting, if that makes sense.
I disagree on that. I look at Balogun. I look at Balogun from Arsenal, right? He's took Balogun over to France. He's worked with him. He works with younger players. He develops younger players. One thing West Ham, like this is the thing that irritates me with certain people in this fan base. Yeah, they moan about West Ham don't give the youth a go. Will Steele could come in and he could develop the youth big time. Yeah.
Hold on. How did he get Balogun in the team? Wasn't that Oscar Garcia, the previous manager? Balogun's been there the whole season.
Yeah, Balogun's been there, but it doesn't mean to say Balogun was doing bits before their manager got sacked.
But he didn't get him in. My point was that the players that you get in, that isn't a Will Steele signing. That was a signing.
I agree, but then you could buy if that is a problem, then you could have a scout shortlist. We haven't got any scouts at West Ham apparently. Apparently, we've got like one or two.
But that's my worry. That's my worry. Like the sort of players that Carrick would go for, or Ange would go for. The sort of what you're getting. Will Steele's not be. I'm not saying he wouldn't be good in a couple of years. That's the thing. That's what we're not getting here. My point is
that's
right
why
now he is a bigger risk.
My number one pick. Personally.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to get off this Will Steele train and wait a couple of years. Just wait a couple of years.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have said that in regard to Thomas Frank. You would not have said that in regards of
Thomas Frank's been around for years.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean to say he's been decent for years. No one heard of Thomas Frank before he arrived at Brentford.
No one had heard of Graham Potter before he entered the UK. I'm not saying they need to be managers you've heard of, but you need managers that have been managers for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I disagree on that though. I really do, because one thing I want to see with West Ham is I want someone who can relate to the fan base. Like some of the managers that West Ham are going for, like I've seen stupid links like Jose Mourinho and things like that. Jose ain't going to come to us, right? And what?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I don't want Mourinho. Mourinho would be right down the bottom.
Having Will Steele just because he's a West Ham fan, it's the same way as having an ex-West Ham player as your manager at times. You risk. Hold on. You risk the fact that yeah, all right, the crowd love them, but when performances do go bad, and at some
Right.
point we will have a bad spell, it doesn't matter who the manager is, but at some point every team has a bad spell, and then the fans turn. Doesn't matter who the manager is. I mean, look at Gianfranco Zola. All right, not a fucking West Ham player, but Chelsea legend, blah blah blah. Did fuck all as a manager in general. You look at
Right.
teams that have had legends become managers. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for instance. Oh, he did well. Bad spell happens. Oh, Ollie, great. Does that then it's like, does it take his legacy?
He ended up being the next player. He's a fan.
But he's a fan. He's a fan.
Yeah, but the way I look at it is though, Clive, the way I look at that is what you just said. Just to counter that, I can look at that and say any manager's going to have a bad run of form. Whether you've got Postecoglou in there, whether you've got Carrick in there, whoever you've got, right? Eventually they're going to have a bad run of form. Otherwise, we're going to win everything, right? So
you're basically
that's irrelevant.
Saying, with Will Still, because he's one of us, we're going to get behind him more than any other manager. If it's the right
manager, he's still got a bit of a record though. He's still got a bit of a record compared to Zola.
Yeah, and you've also got
Zola. I know it was a bad example. I'm just trying to say, like,
but what I'm saying is
the same as having an ex-pro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you still got to respect. You still got to respect what he's done. Like, look what he's done in France. He's lost one game in what? 20 years?
I'm not disrespecting what he's done. I'm just saying it's a bigger risk than everyone's making it out for, especially if we want to be a club with ambition. How's that ambitious going for Will Still?
I disagree on that. I think if West Ham go and get him in and you develop over a period of time. You also got to remember who runs the show at West Ham United, and that is David Sullivan. So he ain't going to go out and get a high-class manager. People say about Pochettino, that ain't happening. Like, West Ham ain't going to pay out a lot of money for a manager.
We pay. No, but it's not just about paying out for a lot. On a annual salary, David Moyes has one of the highest wage bills as a manager across the whole Premier League.
Right.
Like, we pay more for him than I think around 12 to 14 of the Premier League clubs. So we do spend a lot on a manager. What we don't do, because of the ownership, is we don't sack because we're too worried about the compensation fees.
Right.
And realistically, if we do get a manager, they're going to be unattached because we don't want to pay compensation to get them out of a contract. But when we do sign a manager, we pay a shit ton. We paid a shit ton for Pellegrini. Pellegrini. We paid a shit ton for fucking Moyes twice.
Right.
So we do pay a lot.
The first time we paid Moyes, he was on 10 grand a week. And I know that for a fact. When he come back to West Ham, he got a
bonus for keeping us up, didn't he?
He got a bonus for keeping us up, but what his wages were,
the third highest paid manager in the league.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny, right? When you look at Pellegrini, Mitch, be honest, right? When I looked at him, I went, he is a failed manager who's out in China wearing down his career.
Yeah, but that's a different point to what you said. You said that we don't spend money because of our ownership. That's a different point that you're making.
But we don't spend money on our managers, because if
we clearly do.
No, I disagree on that. I totally
if there was no money problems and there was no consideration of the money, I think Moyes would have been sacked during the season.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think, I'm not saying that, in terms of compensation and stuff, we're not stingy. We are stingy in that sense. I think we always have been under this ownership. But in terms of paying a manager, we pay over the fucking amount that we should be for a manager. And that's a fact.
I don't understand, really. So if you say Sam Allardyce, did we pay over the top for? Not really, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say he was a well-paid, highly paid manager in the Prem. Village is another one. I would say, yet again, not a massive amount of money. Then you had David. Yeah, he wasn't paid loads, right? David Moyes, I know for a fact, wasn't paying Moyes a lot of money when he returned. And then you've got Pellegrini, who's a failed manager out in China, wearing down his career. And West Ham paid over the odds for him because he was a name. That's the thing, right? Because he's a name, they will pay over the odds, right? They got David Moyes back, because they had to save face a little bit. They needed someone. There was no one else available, so they paid Moyes what he wanted. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand when you say things about managers, right? West Ham will go out and spend £100 million. They won't spend £10 million on getting a highly rated manager. They won't do it. They won't do it at all. And that's just fact. Do you know what I mean? Because you tell me a manager that is going to springboard us into the next level. I haven't seen one for a long, long time. Hell of a long time. Would you agree on that, Mitch, or not?
Yeah.
Cheers, Mitch. Cheers.
Do you know what I'm saying? But what's this? I started late, and I just should Suchek start? Don't ban Clive, block him totally. Yeah, I know Clive's talking a bit of bollo recently, I must admit. One thing I'm going to say, right, is that
Bit of bollo.
it has to be right. I just want to see West Ham progress, and the way I look at it is, I think a younger manager would benefit us. I think Potter's a good manager to a point, but like, is he going to have a lot of time off now? Because let's be honest, that was his moment in the sunshine, Chelsea, and let's be honest, right? He's been mugged off, hasn't he? Really, like he's gone from Brighton to Chelsea. He's only lasted 30 games, I think it is. So that's is he going to take a year off? Is he going to look at doing something else?
Well,
is he going to look
from what's been said? They've said that he doesn't want to go straight back into management because he's been offered. Was it Leicester or something? But that's another manager. Would you take Brendan Rodgers, for instance?
Not at all.
Definitely not.
Not at all. Like he's another.
Postecoglou's the one for me. I think. Just thinking about it, he's got the best. He's got the best of everything. His transfers have proven very good.
He
Good style of football. He wins games. He's got the perfect balance of youth and experience, but he's not too old, but he's not too young.
Yeah,
he's that man.
But is it a fear though, Mitch? Right? Is it a fear that because he's in Scotland and he's doing very, very well in Scotland with the players that he's brought to Scotland, that he could be another Gerrard 2.0, comes to the Premier League and he just flops?
I don't think so. No.
Why?
Because
international experience.
International experience is very good. Clive, the transfers he's brought in have been very good.
It's not your typical manager that will be in Scotland. Like if you look at Steven Gerrard got his break basically by going to Scotland. Or if you look at Neil Lennon, a former Celtic manager and player, he got his break by essentially doing well in Scotland. Ange has come from, oh God, where did he come from? He came from the Australian League, I think, initially. He was... He was international.
He was in the J League and all, wasn't he? In Japan, I think it was. Also.
He's done Japan. He's done the A League, and he was Australia manager at one point as well. So he's done his rounds before he then went and has gone to Scotland, which is not typical of most Scottish managers that seem to do well and make their break of recent years, anyways. So I think it's a bit different. Because he can use that experience and the difficulties he's had. Whilst, like, if you look at Gerrard or Lennon, they hadn't had difficulties at Celtic or at Rangers. They'd just done well, and that was it.
Yeah. I understand that. It's just, obviously, you've got to look at it that basically, I just see a comment there. You've got to look at it that the Scottish League is a league where you just can't. Some people come to the Premier League and just can't adapt. Fat Sam is available, ultra, but he can stay there.
Look, you can't pick any manager and go, they've got everything. That is perfect fit. You could say Postecoglou's in the Scottish League. You can make arguments for every manager. For me, the one that has the most attributes which would fit us, would be Postecoglou.
I do think it's something.
Even going back onto and I think even looking at, say, going back to Potter, for instance, right? The reason I'm not fully opposed to it is how I see it is he's done it with limited resources in terms of like wage allowance, in terms of transfer allowance, yes, all right, his backroom staff help. That doesn't mean he wouldn't be able to bring his backroom staff to West Ham. There's also the aspect of Potter could take a similar frame as to what Moyes did. Moyes went from a mediocre team, did well with them. Potter's done the same. And then Potter and Moyes have done the exact same thing, gone to a big team. One went to Manchester United, one went to Chelsea. Both of them have fell tits up on their face, come back down, and then they've gone back to mediocre teams and done all right. And it would be a miss to not say, Moyes hasn't done well for the last couple of seasons.
I'm not laughing at you, Clive. I just looked at his comment. From analysis.
I've seen it.
If not, Ange, I'll get Jack Elton in. Well, I have to get him on the channel and he can do a player ratings and we can clash on that. Alfie and Lucas.
It's so funny he's put me on set pieces because I did a worldie of a corner last night. So yeah,
Well,
I'll take
assistant
that.
managers. Clive on set pieces, Mitch as defensive coach, and Fever as the content manager. Yeah, I'll bring the best content possible for you.
I think I'll be the best manager out of the lot. I've got a combination of passion, football intelligence,
Yeah.
and not deludedness like Alfie has.
So hold on, to round it up.
Mate, you'd put a gun to my face if I didn't do the right job on the pitch.
Don't
he
be
would do it.
silly.
You as a manager.
I'd get a Nerf gun.
Right. So to round this up on this show today, yeah. Right, you've got Lucas, Alfie, Clive, Mitch, me, and Tom. Right, these are the regulars on this channel. Yeah, that's 6 people. I want both of you to say what your manager would be, all the way down to like everything. Like for me, if I was to pick a manager that would inspire this team out of all our lot, it'd have to be Mitch. Mitch would like literally bollock them, literally, and I would be Mitch's assistant. Just let Mitch go, and then I'll be his assistant. I think Alfie would be.
If I had to pick assistant, I would pick Alfie because I think Alfie knows the game well. But I couldn't let him be in charge because obviously he does speak some bare bungle.
He does speak some bare bungle. I would like Tom to be the sporting director, 100%. I think Tom knows his football, he knows his players, and everything like that.
Master 3000, huh?
Yeah, no, not Ned.
Tom should be the owner with his wife, and then we've got our own Brady Sullivan situation.
Right, so that would be that. Clive would be on catering because obviously people need to eat.
Wow.
Who else is there? Alfie. Fucking hell. What would Alfie be?
It's just it'd be a good assistant coach, like to give you the tactical point of view and go like, I think you should do this, I think you should do that, and you could try it, but you don't have to take his word for it. But he's good there for advice. And
then you got like I think set pieces. I think Alfie would be good at for me, like set piece coach, like someone who knows all that tactics and things like that. I think assistant. You know what I mean? Lucas could drive the bus. You know what I mean?
Lucas should be in goal, and just for this one reason, I reckon. Yeah. Because at school and whatnot, I reckon they've taught them how to do those, those field kicks that they do in the NFL. I reckon he'd have a kick on in.
Yeah.
I've played football with Lucas. He doesn't.
Clive could
I love Lucas pieces, but he don't.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Right, let's wrap this up, gentlemen. It's been fun. It's been emotional. It's been heated. That is what it's all about on E20 Zone TV. Please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new around here for more content. Tomorrow, we are busy.
Come on Wednesday.
Come on Wednesday. Can I let me finish?
Come on Wednesday.
Lucas is doing a watch along tomorrow. So when Mitch decides to send the thumbnail over, we will be advertising that. He will be doing the watch along. And that'd be good tomorrow. Big game tomorrow. Also, I want to thank Clive and Mitchell for coming on and giving me their hour of their time in the afternoon. So,
Steve, top man, thank you very much.
And
we love you, Steve.
Always.
All donations massively appreciated. They go back into the channel to improve the channel. We really appreciate it.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Great channel. Great chat, lads. Thanks, Stevie. 100%, mate. Let's get this final question before we do go. How many more points do we need? Mitch,
so
what are you saying?
Clive.
Go on.
Well,
one of you.
Yeah, okay. I literally did a Premier League simulating thing earlier where I put all the results in for the remaining games of the season. I had West Ham finishing in 15th with 34 points and putting us 2 points above relegation zone. I had 3 teams going down. I had Southampton with last place by a country mile, Bournemouth on 31 points, Forest on 32, Leeds on 32, Everton on 33, us and Leicester on 34. That's what I had. So, yeah.
Right, just so tight is.
So you're telling me then, Clive, that you've, just to say this, yeah, because I was going to wrap this up, but I've just heard that 34 points.
Fuck's sake, I need a drink.
I know. I'll make it short. Always bring your water, Mitch, like I do. Right. So you're telling me.
Really sore throat.
So you're telling me that we're only going to get another 7 points from now to the end of the season?
Yeah, I told you we only had that I only had us having 10 points when we did our whole predictions for the whole thing,
Yeah,
and we've
see?
already got 3 points, so 7 points remain. I haven't changed. I haven't changed my thought process. I still think it's the same. So
Right,
7 more points from us. Yeah.
Mitch, what you saying for points wise? And then we're wrapped.
Don't really know, to be honest. I haven't really looked at it in that much depth.
But what? How many points do you think West Ham are going to get?
I don't know. I think we'll get
They've
7.
got 11 games left, and obviously, like,
I think 7. No, actually, no. I think we'll get 10 points. I'd say.
well, I'm going to be a bit more optimistic. I'm going to say 11. I think this week we get 4, and then I think we'll start nicking wins and odd win, odd draw, loss, and then we see it out. And I think we'll finish about
4 points,
14th.
2 games. I actually
Yeah.
think we'll get 1 point from next 2 games, James.
Do you reckon?
Yeah,
I
that's
really
what
do,
I think as well. I've got us drawing with Fulham or with Newcastle, and that's it. And I don't see us drawing both or winning any of these 2 games. I literally have 1 point as well. That's all I've got.
Well, let's hope they're both wrong, and James is right, and we end up getting 7. But I am going to wrap it up there. Mitch needs a drink. He needs to think about Souček, and I need to go. Take care. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.